Alright, welcome. So today we have HOU. He has been highly requested, so let's get right into it. Now normally I talk about, a god's abilities and how they matter to building him, except for HOU. He has like everything you ever want in a hunter, and you don't really, his abilities don't really matter as far as building him. But for the sake of like what abilities should you level up for just basic minion clearing and things like that, you level up your 1. His 1 is actually fairly good to clear the minion waves. Before Throwing Dagger got buffed and to where it's super insane right now, you would normally go with the Transcendent start, since he uses his ability to clear the minion waves and it's pretty effective. Now you can still go the Transcendence as a very first item, however it's like 2600, it's fairly expensive and it can put you behind compared to the enemy hunter that goes Throwing Dagger and then would have a lot of extra gold. So he can make use of Throwing Dagger, and the Transcendent start is completely up to you. Transcendence, you're going to have more mana, you have a lot more physical power, but it's going to set you further behind your build, or you can go and Throw Dagger, more cheap and efficient, however you're just going to lack the mana. And things like that. So now Throwing Dagger will get nerfed as of this recording. In the next patch it's going to have like a few points of physical power taken off and the gold increased by 50, so you have like 1 less potion if you're starting Throwing Dagger. I don't think that really affects it until they take critical hit off of Throwing Dagger. Throwing Dagger is still going to be pretty good for all hunters. Now, everything else doesn't really matter into building them. You still like max out your 1, your 2, then 3, then your ultimate at all times. That would be a pretty good route to go, I feel. One really important note, I've totally forgot about this, but on his Mark of the Golden Crow, if you read here at rank 5, he gains 25% penetration on the marked enemy god. So you could get away without building your normal Titan's Bane if you want. However, Titan's Bane is going to, of course, give you another 33% pen, and as well as Titan's Bane actually applies to objectives with the mark. You can't put a mark on a Gold Fury or Tower, things like that. So that's that, and let's get into actually building HOU. Now, again, just like I mentioned earlier, for like laning game modes, so Conquest, Clash, Siege, things like that, where you have to focus on clearing the waves, you can go either the Throwing Dagger start, which is perfectly fine, or if you're not a fan of that, or if it gets nerfed to the ground, you just go with the Transcendence. Those two, they just work perfectly. So for now, let's just go with the normal. Throwing Dagger is pretty hot right now. It's really cheap, only 1300. As of this patch, you can have 4 potions. With the next patch, you can have 3 potions. So you just pick whatever potions you want, and then you just pick up your relic. So after Throwing Dagger, let's go into your boots. You just go into your warrior type of boots. We'll be getting our attack speed items later on. You can sell this like late game, like once you're full build for Ninja Tabby, since you're throwing more auto attacks if you want. But I would just go with the Warrior Tabby. Now, from Warrior Tabby, you have a few different transitional items you can go into. What I personally normally do, I go into Aussie and into Kins. Some may prefer not going into Lifesteal right away and just go into Ikavol and then Kins, because Ikavol and Kins, they pair up really well together. And then you go into Aussie right after Kins. Or you can just go into both Aussie and Ikavol back to back, and then go into Kins. It's going to delay your Kins power spike, but it's going to show you have all the attack speed, flat pin, lifesteal, everything you ever want. And those are the 3 different routes that you can go into it. But let's actually just go into that for now. So after Kins, it's always the question, okay, I know the core items like Ikavol, Aussie, and Kins are really popular, and your starter items is either Transcendence or Throwing Dagger, but what about like the last couple items? How do you really finish off a hunter build? And like I said, this kind of applies to most hunters. There are couple different ways. Now for HOU, and if you're going the Throwing Dagger build, I would just finish it off with crit. I mean, you already have Throwing Dagger. I would just go into Deathbringer at your last item slot right here. Reason why this over Rage personally is because you already have Throwing Dagger, which is 10% crit, and since you already have, some crit already in your build, I would just go Deathbringer, and then sell the Throwing Dagger, even though it's going to hurt you, because your clear is not going to be nearly as good, and you sell the Throwing Dagger for Rage or Mouse. That is totally up to you. Let's just go in the Rage, and then Ikavol doesn't really translate the best into late game, and you just sell this and just pick up, normally it would be Titan's Bane if you're looking for a maximum amount of penetration and as well as objective penetration. If you don't want the Titan's Bane, then you could sell it for some other flavor items, that being the Oboe for some maximum just spread damage in team fights, and this can also help you clear mini waves as well. Or you can just go into Haste Mentalis, looking to trade some auto attacks and just win the fights. You can do something like that, and that is pretty much it. You can maybe do the good old triple crit. It's up to you. But that's how it normally looks like. Now, if you start with the Transcendent start, let's see how that looks like. I would guess you probably wouldn't go into the crit. Let's see how it turns out. So Transcendence, looking for really high physical power and mana to clear your mini waves with your abilities. Then you go into your boot, your warrior tabby, and then again you can go into the same 3 items that I mentioned before. Let's just say Igavol, Aussie, Kens, and then the problem is Transcendence, you don't really sell this late game because if you have full stacks, it has a lot of physical power, and at level 20 it's an incredible amount of physical power. And you can just top it off with, let's say if you don't want to go with the crit way, you just go into Titan's Bane and sell Igavol for whatever other items that you want before, like I mentioned, in the last build. It'd be like Hasten or Oboe, something like that. You can maybe do something like this for a non-crit build. If not the Haste Mentality, you can do the Oboe. Since the Oboe, the passive kind of procs, or kind of bases its physical power proc off of the amount of total physical power you have from your items. You can see there, 50% of your total physical power with that proc there. So you can do something like that. And as far as not going a starter item for like arena or something like that, you just wouldn't really go into crit. Let's say if you're in arena and there's a bunch of ADCs and assassins and warriors in your team for no apparent reason and nobody can really clear efficiently, and then the job's kind of up to you. Then I'll go Throne Dagger. If you have a couple mages that can clear the wave efficiently in arena, then there's obviously no real need for Throne Dagger, unless if you're really betting on that 10%, which is more like 50%. So without a start item, let's just go into Warrior Tabby Boots. Personally, in arena, I just go Aussie because majority of the times you're not directly trading blows with another physical god, so Igavol might not get the most usage compared to, let's say, in Conquest in the dual lane, you're 1v1ing another hunter and Igavol has its most usefulness ideally, right? So I would just go into Aussie and then go into Kins, and then you can go into the rest of your items. So you can go into the double crit, and you can just finish it off with the Titan's Bane. You can do something like that. And again, if you still want Igavol in arena, it works the same. It's just you don't just pick up starter items. So the builds doesn't really change too much from game mode to game mode. It just depends on starter item or no starter item, and it's just up to you. But yeah, that is pretty much it. Hopefully this was helpful. Now, if you don't want to go into the last 2 crit items, it would just be looking into the more penetration and other power items like that. But yeah, hopefully that helps you out. Relics is typically purification, and the second relic is totally up to you. Whatever you need, whatever your team needs, would be the important note. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So hopefully that was helpful, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.